Hey folks, this video is going to be a bit different from my usual style. I've made around a dozen videos about Kingdom Hearts VCast, but I've never just played the game. And since I've been wrapped up with some bigger projects this month, I thought it was a good opportunity for a more casual style of video. The plan is to just play Kingdom Hearts VCast and point out anything interesting we see along the way. So without further ado, let's play some games. And this is Kingdom Hearts VCast, made by Disney Mobile and Superscape. Officially just Kingdom Hearts, but Kingdom Hearts VCast is less confusing. And there's our beautiful Sora render. Some of the things aren't quite working in the emulator, like the leaderboard scores, which are a little bit broken, and the sound options, which don't actually do anything, so I'll be playing other soundtracks above it, so that you have at least something to listen to. So let's start with a new game. Sora, bearer of the magical Key Blade, is returning from a quest with his faithful companions, Donald and Goofy. During their travels, I'm always along to chronicle their adventures. Who am I? Well, I'm Jiminy Cricket, that's who. And right about now, it looks like I need to talk Sora through a bit of training. You know, practice makes perfect. So this is Obstacle Course, the tutorial world. And Jiminy is the one narrating all of this dialogue here. He's getting Sora into shape. He's going to teach us how to use the controls. It's a bit awkward because it was made for mobile phones. Forward and backwards, move me forwards and backwards. And left and right, rotate Sora. It's tank controls like the original Resident Evil or something like that. So, not the smoothest control scheme, but I guess the best they could do with the technology. If we don't know how to jump, we can pick up this little question mark and it will tell us what buttons we need to press. I've mapped jump to the space key, which is the everything button. It's jump, it's attack, it's interact. It does it all. They teach you how to ledge hang here. It's used, I think, 3 times in the entire game, but it's here. Whee! So here we pick up this box, and there are a lot of interesting choices or oversights. For instance, I can just turn around and throw this box behind me, and it works just as well. Ladders are really slow to climb up and down, so usually you'll see me jumping onto a ladder if I try to climb one, like this tree over here. I'll jump onto it so I don't have to climb the bottom portion of it. Saves me some time. There's unique dialogue here that I didn't realize until several playthroughs. If you fall off the bridge, Jiminy tells you careful. There are a lot of little details like that that are really charming, and I'm surprised I went through the effort to put them in. You'll need to defeat the shadows to complete your training. And now they're going to pop up the basic UI elements and explain them each to us, kind of like Kingdom Hearts 1 did in the Dive to the Heart. There is no way to fast forward or skip that, and that's just as long as it takes. Yep, the action button, the jump button, that's where we're going to need to attack, which means you cannot jump during combat because they're mapped to the same button. So it's either attack or jump, one or the other. You have to wait for the shadow to pop up from the ground each time, which is kind of like the original games, and just as annoying. The door's locked. You know, if only we had some sort of mystical artifact that could unlock doors. Oh well. I guess we can just get a key, like a normie. And that's Obstacle Course. That's just a tutorial. Pretty simple. With all that coaching, I almost forgot what I was writing about. It happened on the way back from the edge of the universe. It's a long ride, even on the gummy ship. Sora had set the controls to economy wash, and we'd all turned in to get some sleep for the night. That's when it happened. Something green and lurking came out of the darkness, and no one even noticed. Except Sora, whose dreams began to spiral out of control. Swashbuckler's Island. It's kind of a stand-in for Destiny Islands. Bit unique, though. Awk, ahoy mate, when did you wash on shore? Press action or 5. I love how that's just in the dialogue. What's going on? Where's Donald and Goofy? Who? Wherever they are, they're not on this island. What is this place? Swashbuckler's Island. No other land for a week's flight in any direction. Hey kid, where's your boat? Boat? I was on a ship. A spaceship. How'd you get here? I don't know. I was just... Well, what you need is a raft. There's an old wooden tower beyond that cave for you. Maybe you can use that for parts? Cause my name. You need any help, just come talk to me. I know this island like the back of my wing. So Cause our little tutorial character stand-in. If you come back and talk to him, he'll give you tips on where to go next. Remember what I said about the tower there through that cave? Yep, so he'll give us little hints on where to go. I like how the treasure chest animation is pretty similar to the KH1 opening animation. Alright. That's the tower he was talking about over there. Controlling the camera is a bit difficult because it only moves when you move forwards or backwards. And this right here, this is the most advanced the combat gets. 2 whole enemies on screen at once. And even then, one of them's always invincibly in the floor, so it only has to process 1 enemy at a time, because that's all the phones can handle. Exhilarating stuff. You can see there the shadows respawned. Enemies respawn a limited number of times once you clear the wave out. So you can just kill everything and then the level's just empty. Over here, our goal is to drop onto the top of that roof in order to break it, which is really annoying because it has to be off-screen in order to actually line up that drop. So I don't know what they're thinking with that one, but it works. Obtained gem. Collision is kind of hit or miss, like this wall is fake, I can just walk through it. And the levels are generally pretty small, maybe a dozen rooms. Swashbuckler's Island has, I think, half that. We got this place which has a neat lava in it. That lava is, of course, just an insta-kill. They love insta-kills in this game. And sometimes their triggers for cutscenes are a bit wonky. Like here, if I jump into this cutscene, Sora kind of gets trapped in the door and starts vibrating around. Because the technology was pretty limited, they have a lot more emphasis on platforming than combat, which is kind of nice. But because the controls aren't great, it is kind of frustrating too. And this barrel that it spawns, like the lava, is going to be an insta-kill. Because of course. Most of the combat in this game, you can just kind of skip over. If you walk far enough away from the enemies, they'll just despawn. And now we got our second gem, 2 of 4. Once we get all 4, that's the trigger for accessing the last ending sequence of the world. So there's a bit of non-linearity where you can kind of get the gems in any order. Ooh, love that camera. Now we're back where we started. We can see the raft has floated over, and Call will give us some new advice. So over here, Kaw is telling us to get some coconuts for our journey, which is completely not required. I think it was an oversight, but if you just end the level without grabbing the coconuts will just magically spawn on the raft as you go away, as if you had gotten them. But because I'm trying to show off everything here, I will go through the effort of collecting all the coconuts. Call actually has different dialogue depending on how many coconuts you're holding. In case somehow you grabbed only 1 or 2 coconuts and then decided to talk to him. Swimming controls are also annoying. If you look right here, I'm pressing backwards. Sora does not move. Sora cannot swim backwards. There's no backstroke. Over here, we can place the coconuts down, and Call will be happy about it. Here he's warning us about the altar gems that we're collecting. As we go up here through this gate, this will lead us to the altar that we have to place the gems on. I'm also very liberal with save points in this game, which I appreciate. I suppose it's because it's meant to be played on mobile, perhaps in short bursts, so that you want to make sure you could always have an option to save. And here's the Heartless emblem. This is the only time in the game that you see the Heartless emblem at all, because all of the Heartless, their models are not very good, or not very detailed at least, so they don't have any Heartless emblems on them, but they are on the ground here. As you can see, I need to throw this barrel down, but the activation point for where the throw prompt is a bit finicky. There's gem 3 of 4. Placing the first gem down, doesn't matter where or which gem we got it from, but the first gem we place down, that will trigger this cutscene with Maleficent. Soon the darkness will engulf him. Just a touch more poison. And we do have 2 other gems in our possession, so we can place them down. But we can't do anything else until we get the 3rd gem. This is one of those things about old games, or games of this era, where it just has an arbitrary progression gate. We'll see in a second, a crate washed on shore. And the only reason it washed on shore is because we saw that cutscene with Maleficent. They're not really connected in any way, but it's required to do in that order. This jump right here is the bane of my existence. I jump into the water more often than not. But we got it that time. Cause moved over, so we smashed his barrel. Don't know why I was sitting on a gem, but I'll take it. Does he have anything new to say? Nope, just the same things about the altar gems. A lot of the characters have a surprising number of dialogue lines if you return to them at different points throughout the level. And finally, we have our first magic spell, Blizzard. There's no actual magic stat in this game, so magic spells and Keyblade strikes do the exact same amount of damage. The only difference is that magic spells have more range, but they use MP. So they want us to battle some shadows over here. They spawn from this creepy dark hole. But turns out, you would just fall down it and die. There's nothing stopping you. What I've learned from looking into the game is that death pit isn't actually an instant death. It subtracts 100 from your HP. Sora's maximum HP is 5, so it is essentially an instant death pit. You can see here how each shadow is dropping 3 money. The orbs they drop are actually random, could be money, health, or magic, but if your health and magic are full, they can't drop any. So as long as we're at full health and magic, we're guaranteed going to get money. We climb back up, and this is one of my favorite encounters in the game. It's Shadow Sora. We can't actually attack him. If we try, we take damage ourselves and he takes none. Magic spells also don't do anything. We have to trick him into falling into that pit that we fell through earlier. A bit of a simple puzzle, but it's satisfying. That passed right through me, a black pain across my heart. What was that? The venom of the heartless. It means your mortal days are numbered, and the Keyblade will soon be mine. And just like Kingdom Hearts, we are sealing a keyhole at the end of every world, which raises some questions, but it's cool. You don't look too good. What happened? I think a serpent bit me. Hop, we have to get off this island now! I hate snakes. And you need a cure. I know this caterpillar in another mixed-up world. He's good with potions. I'm sure he could help you out. If only Donald and Goofy were here, we could go in the gummy ship. Whatever you say, matey. Let's just get on the water before that thing shows up again. Good thing that fancy sword of yours is all charged up with magic. You never know when you'll need it. And that swirling icon? That is what lets us know that we're allowed to use... Shut up, Caw. That swirling icon around the mast, that's the indicator that we're allowed to use magic in the environment. So we cast Blizzard here, and off we go. So, in theory, this is supposed to lead into the Wonderland chapter. That's the caterpillar that Caw mentioned. But the Wonderland chapter is currently lost media, so we can't exactly go there. It usually would just put your game into a state that says, download the Wonderland chapter now, with a link to a page that doesn't work anymore, and then your save file is soft-locked. But I took the liberty of modding the game, so it just sends you to Agrabah instead, which is the next world that we have recovered. As Donald and Goofy fearlessly search for Sora, Sora hurries to Agrabah to find the giant serpent. The serpent's tooth is the second potion ingredient Sora needs to save himself from the darkness consuming his soul. So in Wonderland, the caterpillar told Sora that he needs to create a potion from the teeth of 3 magical creatures, and that's the only thing that can save him from becoming a Heartless. The first of those was the purple crocodile in Wonderland, presumably the boss of the world, and now we're looking for another one in Agrabah. Honestly, some pretty smooth transitions with the cutscenes. That one, plus the Shadow Sora one from Swashbuckler's Island, and a few others. They're pretty creative with their limited resources. What a weird dream. A scarab and a snake? Wonder what it means. Me too, Sora. This room is just a box. There's absolutely nothing in it. Love that for us. Whoa, back in Agrabah. Wish I had time to see Aladdin. Aladdin does not show up in the game. You can see we just leveled up there. We are going to be underleveled in Agrabah because we were expected to have gone through Wonderland, but we haven't yet, because there is no Wonderland. This right here is the only pot in Agrabah that isn't a pot spider. Instead gives us a rope. And this chest contains an elixir. Elixirs will restore all of our magic if we run out of it, which will be useful later. This treasure chest is less useful. It has exactly 1 money in it. I do like the crisscrossy platforming here, with all the zip lines. Golden coin. We actually do have an inventory we can look at. We can see our current stats. And it'll tell us over here that there are 3 golden coins that we need to grab, of which we just got 1. This conspicuous pot is a pot spider. There are tons of them all over Agrabah, and no more pots that aren't pot spiders anymore. Pot spiders are the hardest enemy because they deal contact damage and they attack really weirdly. This room over here is a bit of a puzzle. There are pressure plates on the ground over here. These will control which sandbag is lifted and which one is sunk into the ground, which we can then climb up. Now that the trapdoor is open, we switch which sandbag's down, and now we can climb to the exit door. This is the main street of Agrabah. This market actually leads back. This door here would go to the area where we fought the pot spider in the first room. There's no actual transition there, but it does line up. And if you want to go back for some reason, like you missed that golden coin in the chest, this ladder you could climb through. It'll take you to a window in the completely empty room where Sora woke up at the beginning. So you do have a way back. There are a few NPCs in this area. I'll talk to one of them over here. This is the old man. Ah, I see you are seeking something. How did you know that? I may be old, but I am not blind. I have something that would be of great value to you in your quest. But first, you must do something for me. Go to the merchant and bring me a cane. Alright. We can do that, but we can also talk to this other NPC, one of my favorites in the game. It's the guardskeeper of the palace. We need to see the Sultan. Do you know the password? Password? Sorry, password is not the password. And this guy is great. You can just go up to him and talk to him many times over. And kind of like Kaw on Swashbuckler's Island, he'll give you hints on how to progress the level if you're stuck. You again? Yeah, I have to find a giant serpent's tooth. I see. Frolicking in the Cave of Wonders. Where's that? I can't tell you. It's a secret. And he'll go over and over again. So if we're ever stuck, we can come back and ask him, and he'll give us some direction on where to go. The third and final NPC in the area is this merchant over here, the old man mentioned. Welcome. May I interest you in some fine kebabs or julienne fries? No thanks, but I would like to buy a cane. Ah, I have just the thing, and for today only, I will sell it for 3 golden coins. But I don't have 3 gold coins. Then come back when you do. So, we're broke. Do you have the coins? No, we do not. There's another chest. And all of these chests in the market area, they all contain elixirs, which is pretty great. Over here, this room is called the Temple Entrance. This bandit spawned off-screen and absolutely will kill us in 2 hits. The way to deal with enemies is you just attack before they attack. It interrupts their attack and resets their cycle, so they can't really do anything about it. The pot spider is basically the only one who this isn't true for, which is why they're the hardest. This bandit isn't required to kill, we can just kind of walk past him, as with most enemies, but it's a good idea to kill a few just so we can get back into the level bracket that it expects us to be in, because we are quite underleveled. And I think there was another bandit that spawned behind us. Yes, there was. You have to kill every enemy in a wave, otherwise you won't get any experience for it. And, oh, he's glitched out right now where he's not wanting to attack us and we can't attack him. It happens if you exit and re-enter one of the combat zones. Sometimes just randomly, or if you go in really fast, then that will also do it pretty consistently. If you just wait long enough, he'll go back to normal. There we go. I do like this little oasis in the middle of the street. There's another pot spider. The enemies have a lot of iframes after they get hit, so that's why I'm waiting so long between attacks. And this is the temple. And the blue Rhapsody over here, a favorite enemy in the game, one of my favorite encounters in all of Kingdom Hearts. We can't kill him right now. Or we can kill him, but we won't get to do anything. Over here, we have 4 braziers in the corners of the room. We need to light them with the fire spell. But we don't have the fire spell right now, so we're just going to have to come back and do it later. At any save point in the game, you can access the shop, not the Moogle shop, just the normal shop, no Moogles here. You can buy potions, high potions, ethers, or elixirs. The first 2 restore your health when it reaches 0, kind of like a revive, and the second 2 restore your mana, your MP, when it reaches 0. So we'll buy some elixirs and potions, just in case. This room to the right, this is housing. That's what it's called in the files. It's the housing district. If I ever mention the name of a room, 90% of the time that's going to be taken from the game files, because there are no maps and no little room titles when you enter. So this one is kind of annoying. You have to place this box in a specific corner, and the only way to know where is to walk to the corner, and then it will let you throw it down. There's no indication beforehand. There's a pot spider here, but I don't actually want to spend the time fighting him, so you just kind of walk around the side. You can avoid him, and then jump up to the exit. There are a lot of small and compact rooms like this one. We don't really see anything like this since the first Kingdom Hearts with, like, I guess Captain Hook's pirate ship. So it is interesting to explore these more tight environments. Perspective isn't great for all of this platforming, but thankfully it's not too difficult. this right here. This is going to be our second gold coin that we need. And the rewards are just stacked right next to each other because in here is fire. We can't actually choose which magic spell we want to cast. Now that we have fire in addition to Blizzard, casting the magic button will just do a random spell. It doesn't actually matter because they all do the same amount of damage, they all cost the same amount of MP, so there's no point. There's a bandit here and he spawns all the way at that door, which is really interesting because that door is actually outside of the combat zone. If we try to walk over to it, the bandit disappears. So he spawns out of bounds a little bit, which is neat. And a jump scare again. And now that we have fire, we can go and deal with the Blue Rhapsody. The Blue Rhapsody, as much as I love the fight, it is a little bit annoying to kill. The optimal strategy should just stay away and deal magic damage to it. And then we can light a brazier, and lo and behold, the Blue Rhapsody respawns. If you get too close to him, you can see right there, the Blue Rhapsody casts the fire spell, as the Blue Rhapsody always has. Ooh, the game has frozen. This happens all the time. There's a way to get rid of this. If you pause the game, then unpause it, you can't see the pause menu show up, but it will still pause and unpause, and allows you to save yourself from resetting. But yeah, this Blue Rhapsody, you have to kill him 4 times, 1 before each brazier you want to light. And he runs away from you towards the closest corner opposite of Sora. And if he runs into a corner that you had already lit, the torch will become extinguished. So then you have to kill him another time. It's a bit of a puzzle fight. However, there is some really good game design here, because all of the chests all around Agrabah, as I pointed out earlier, every single one of them gives you an elixir. So they're giving you enough magic to be able to take out the Blue Rhapsody from a distance, which is the intended way. It's also important because this is the mummy enemy, unique to Kingdom Hearts VCast, and they can only be damaged by magic. They just kind of slowly shuffle towards Sora. They're not very intimidating, but if we don't have any elixirs, we will not have enough magic to take them down. And that revealed the hole in the temple, which will lead us to the crypt. The crypt is a fun area. It has a bunch of sarcophagi, and behind each one, this one leads to a new area, whereas the other two lead to little alcoves with chests in them. We'll grab all of these first. As I said before, the enemies have a lot of invincibility frames after you hit them. The mummy has to take about 3 steps forwards before it becomes vulnerable again. There's our last golden coin. And I am out of elixirs, so I have no way to kill this mummy. I can't do anything now, so I just have to run away. That's okay, because we have the 3 golden coins that we need, so we can go and buy the cane from the merchant. Welcome, may I interest you in some fine jewelry? No thank you, but I would like to buy a cane. Ah, I have just the thing, and for today I will sell it for 3 golden coins. Here you go. Ah, very good. Here is the cane. And if you go and talk to the merchant again, he'll try to sell you some random things, such as fine carpets guaranteed not to fly, or goat skins still worn by the goats. All sorts of wonderful things. You are a very kind young man. Here is your reward. A half scarab beetle. The other half is hidden within the city. It is the key to unlock the Cave of Wonders and the tooth that you seek. You know about the tooth? I know much, boy. In the cave, there's a genie captured in a golden lamp. Free him, and he can lead you to the serpent. But how do I get there? Now, where'd he go? He's pretty fast for an old guy. And that's the last we'll ever see of the old man. I kind of like the theory that the old man is actually the genie, kind of like the peddler in the original Aladdin. And that's why he's leading us towards the Cave of Wonders. Oops. Before I go back, though, I should probably buy another elixir so I have enough to defeat that mummy, because that mummy is guarding the second half of that scarab beetle. Usually, if we had gone through Wonderland before this, we'd be leveled up more, so our strength would be higher, so we'd be able to defeat the mummies without needing any items. Unfortunately, that is not the case here. We could also grind some other enemies, but I'd rather not. Three, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now we both have the scarab beetle. We enter this new room, which contains the door that leads us to the Cave of Wonders. So during this cutscene, they actually forgot to limit Sora's movement. So this must be the lamp, Sora says. And I've already swum halfway across the room, because they forgot to lock down the controls during that cutscene. So I could do some platforming over here. We want the lamp, but these are smooth. We're not allowed to jump up the surface yet. So there are two halves to the Cave of Wonders, one room on the right, one room to the left. Each of them you need to place one of those big red gems in. We'll start with the room to the right. This one has a little puzzle in it. Hardly even a puzzle, but it's guarded by a bandit, so we have to take him out first. So if you look to the right, there's that monkey statue, and we need to place the gem in the monkey's hands, and there are two little braziers on either side. Lighting one of the braziers with fire will lower the monkey's hand so that we can place the gem in it. It's actually supposed to be a puzzle. I'll show you here. If we light one of the hands, or we light one of the torches, the hand will lower. And we're actually on a time limit to light the second hand, but the time limit is so ridiculously generous that I don't think you could fail this unless you are actively trying to fail it. Okay, I'm just going to stand here, I'm going to wait, and Sora's going to be tapping his toes. And remember, all we have to do is walk a yard to the left and cast fire. That's how long it takes for the timer to run out. I can turn around, I can walk an entire lap around the room, and we still have plenty of time to spare. We place the gem. The game was not programmed to handle backtracking very well. For instance, if I were to lower those monkeys' hands, then not place the gem and just leave instead and come back later, it would kind of glitch out. A lot of cases where if you half complete a task and then leave, it has no idea how to handle it because the devs never expected anyone to do that. But now we have the second gem, so we can go into the flooded room of the Cave of Wonders. This one also has a bandit guarding it. The bandit lives over here to the side. But if you walk just far enough outside, you can ignore the bandit entirely and jump across this rock. That skips the fight. We need to climb up this waterfall, so we freeze it into ice, because ice, is a very climbable surface. I'm low on health and magic, so I might as well rest up at the save point before we go. But there'll be another save point right after this, so it's not completely necessary. Ah, we've reached the lamp. But, oh no, lava. Something they did with the lava textures messes up any model viewers, so we can't open and view the 3D models of any rooms that have lava in them. I'm not quite sure why. Oh no. I hope this is the lamp. I really need some help. And I am out of here. Never thought that would happen. Hey, thanks, kid. Those Heartless trapped me back inside this thing, and it really needs a remodel. The Heartless? But how? Aren't you an all-powerful genie? You better believe it, but since the Heartless aren't from this world, they figured a way to override my powers. So what's next, young... sorry, kid, what's your name? Sora. So Sora remembers Aladdin, but doesn't remember Genie, which is a bit odd. Well, Sora, thanks for saving me from a fate worse than death. I'll grant you 3 wishes. Okay, I wish you would take me to a safe place. Wish granted. I love Genie's animations in this. So whimsical. The palace courtyard, he did it! And so right through those doors up there to the palace, that is the final boss of this level. If we want to backtrack a bit, this door here, this is the one that the mysterious eyes were talking to us earlier, and it leads back to the main market of Agrabah. But now the door's open, so we don't have to backtrack through the Cave of Wonders, which is now collapsed and you can't enter it anymore. Before we go to the boss, I'll go around the sides, because they have some nicely hidden treasure chests over here. Because the attack button overrides the jump and interact button during combat, we're not allowed to open chests until all the enemies are cleared out of the area. Plus, extra experience points doesn't hurt. And there is a puzzle here, which you can bypass just by running along the side like that. I'm going to go back and do the puzzle, but that's just to show you can. So here's the puzzle. It's the Agrabah Royal Fish Guards. They spew water, and if you get hit by it, you are instantly sent off to the side. Given the not great controls of VCast, it's kind of annoying to get through. If you do it right at the beginning, there's an easy way to get a single cycle, and that cycle we got wasn't too bad either. It took me a lot of tries the first time I played. What an expression. Jafar. Ah, you've arrived at last, as I knew you would. You're a daring little urchin, but you'll need more than bravery to defeat me. For you see, I've joined forces with the Heartless. And boom, we're right into battle. This is pretty close to the Kingdom Hearts 1 battle. He rotates around between 3 pillars and casts magic. We can't actually damage him directly at all, but we can destroy the 3 pillars that he stands on, these little platforms. There's a magic swirling icon around it, telling us that we're allowed to use magic. We can also whack it with our Keyblade. It takes half as many hits if we use magic instead of the Keyblade, which is I think the only time in the game that there's a difference in damage between magic and Keyblade. I think Jafar wasn't really doing much that fight. You think you've won, brat? This fight is far from over. And then, a decade before we got it in Union Cross, we have Cobra Jafar. A pretty cool fight, honestly. I think this is the best designed boss in Kingdom Hearts V-Cast. You have to use magic to damage him. He's immune to physical attacks. We can't even get close enough to deal any Keyblade swings. But if you run out of MP, it spawns MP orbs on top of these little cracks. But Jafar will target all of the MP orbs that spawn around the arena, so you have to make sure you grab them before he bites them. However, if you get lucky and he drops MP, you can just keep chaining that together, and you won't have to worry about running around the arena to replenish it. And that's the fight. There's not much to it, but given by VCast standards, it's pretty great. And this is the second tooth we need. Obtained tooth. Once again, we seal the keyhole of the world. Where's Genie? I still have 2 wishes left. Genie, I need your help. Your wish, young Sora, is my command. I'm looking for a dragon's tooth. Do you know where I could find one? It's for an antidote I need to save myself from the shadow side. Sure, kid, I know exactly where you can find a dragon's tooth. Where? In a dragon. Oh, come on, Genie, I knew that. Tell me something I don't know. How about this? To make the potion, you'll have to boil all 3 teeth together in the cauldron of a powerful sorceress. Now I just need to know where I can find a sorceress. Is that your second wish? Yes, show me where to go. Wish granted. 1 shiny transportation portal to a place you might regret traveling to. Thanks, Genie. Before I go, I have 1 more wish. Let me guess. Endless riches? No. My last wish is simply this. To defeat the Heartless. Sorry, kid, but that's not a wish I can grant you. The only one who can make that wish come true is you. Oh, I kinda thought you'd say that. Guess I better get going. See you later, Genie. Wish me luck. There is no one that can save Sora now. The Heartless have captured his only rescuers. And they are my prisoners. So somewhere in the Lost Wonderland chapter, there's a scene of Donald and Goofy beaming down from the gummy ship to search for Sora. So somewhere in that, they must have gotten captured, but we don't exactly know. New high score. I would not like to post it to the server, no thank you. Oh boy, Sora not only has to save himself, but Donald and Goofy as well. He has to defeat Maleficent and find a dragon's tooth. That's the last ingredient needed for the potion that'll drive out the darkness that's devouring his heart. Kind of a dark plot. And here we are, Enchanted Dominion, or Maleficent's castle. I like how Genie can transport us between worlds and colonies of other worlds. A lot of knowledge of outside worlds among powerful characters that we didn't really get since KH1. Maleficent's castle. She must be who's behind all this. So we know who Maleficent is. But I really love this level. It reminds me of the world that never was in Kingdom Hearts 2. We were kind of kicking down the enemy stronghold and climbing the tower. It has that sort of endgame vibe to it. It also brings back Dark Balls, which remind us of the endgame of Kingdom Hearts 1. So things are really wrapping up here. I do love the goofy Dark Ball model. He's friend-shaped. On this side, we have 3 shadows that are going to spawn, and over here on the floor, this is the lever we need to open the gate and access Maleficent's castle proper. Even though we can just stand on top of it, the trigger to be able to pick up the lever is the shadows being defeated, so the combat is unavoidable. Oh, that magic orb is not supposed to be up there. Oh well. Precise platforming in this is not the best, because the collision isn't very well defined. And there's a fixed camera angle. But thankfully you can kind of just jump across and skip part of it. And here are the goons. This was, 5 years before Birth by Sleep? So these goons were not in the Kingdom Hearts series yet. This is the first time. So I really like that they took something from the Disney movie and made it into an enemy in VCast, when they could have just reused more Heartless. They did really care about this, to an extent. And right up here is perhaps the funniest part of the game, perhaps the funniest part of any game ever. And he's gone. Incredible. Here's a fun little glitch. If we don't take the zipline down, and we instead just walk down, I don't know why anyone would do this, but the zipline activation trigger extends all the way to the ground, so we can grab it and swing on the zipline. There's about a 50-50 chance that zipline doesn't actually take you to the platform with the chest, and instead fails and drops you on the ground. Even if you access it the intended way, it'll just do that sometimes. And here's the guy we kicked out earlier, down on the ground. I'll just walk past him at this point. After all, there's another one in this room. It's another isolated little platforming challenge, which is pretty fun. And, of course, these rocks... Ooh, that was collision. I was trying to get hit by it to show you. These rocks, they instant kill. Because, of course, they do. However, they're really easy to avoid if you just run forwards. It's Call. Sora, I had given up hope. So that's what's happened to you. You were captured by the Heartless. Use your Keyblade to open the cage and get me out of here. Ha ha ha. Maleficent. Indeed. Finally we meet. Thank you for bringing me the Keyblade. Now I can unlock the portals and free all the shadow creatures you have imprisoned. Soon, the world will be overwhelmed by darkness. Ah ha 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 ha! And she just disappears. Now we're trapped, and you can see me pressing the button. I cannot cast magic spells because I do not have the Keyblade anymore. She stole it from me. It's just like Hollow Bastion. So there's a little puzzle here. We can raise and lower the cell that Call was in, and we can open or close the platform on top of it. So if we try to raise it when the ceiling is closed, it falls back down and cracks the floor. Repeat it 3 times, and we can now climb up that chain. Now, the movement controls aren't great, and the camera controls aren't much better. So that means the final area of the game, or one of the final areas, should be a maze, because of course we needed a maze. It isn't actually that hard to solve, but it is very confusing on the first time. And these chests, we'd like to open them, but we don't have the Keyblade, so we can't tap them and open them. So if you do want those chests, you're going to have to backtrack way later in the game once we have the Keyblade again to be able to get them. Probably not worth it, but it is pretty cool. Go right, press the button. All sorts of gates going up and down. But I know the path through the maze at this point. It's actually just a square. Donald! Sora, you're okay! I'm not doing a Donald voice, sorry. We came here to rescue you, but now you have to rescue us. But Maleficent stole my Keyblade. I can't unlock your cell. Oh, well, maybe you can help Goofy. I heard his voice down that hallway. I'll go see. Don't go anywhere. Okay. Goofy. Sora, you're alive. Yeah, I'm fine, but I have to know if you've seen Maleficent. I sure did. She just went by, carrying a Keyblade that looked exactly like yours. That was mine. Gosh, why would you give her your Keyblade? I didn't. Which way did she go? She went to that giant machine room at the end of the hall. Okay, I'll go check it out. Don't go anywhere. Alright, I'll wait right here. I promise. And Goofy's a good sport. I love the Goofy model so much. It's beautiful. This next room, the machine room that Goofy was talking about, in the game files it's called the Orrery. The Keyblade. That's convenient. Thank you, Sora. Dramatic zoom. You see, the portals could only be unlocked by one who is pure of heart. Now, when the planets reach their proper positions, the portals will open and all of the shadows will be unleashed. Then, at the stroke of midnight, you will become one of them. Another dramatic camera zoom. If EGS has anything going for it, it's its dramatic camera zooms. Haha, you thought you could vanquish me? Think again, child. What did you do to my Keyblade? Just a little spell to remove the magic. So, you may as well surrender. You'll never defeat the darkness now. And she's all the way over there. And if you've watched my previous videos, I've talked at length about these shadows. So we've had all the magic stolen from our Keyblade, we're encountered with shadows, and we deal no damage to them. Technically not no damage, but look at that health bar, it's barely going down. And if we get hit by one of them, that's almost our entire health bar. So these shadows are designed to be unkillable. They're demonstrating to us how weak we are without the power of the Keyblade, and signaling that we need to go back and explore in order to recover our power. So even though we don't have any magic in our Keyblade, it can still be used as a key, so we can save Donald and Goofy. I got the Keyblade back, but Maleficent took out all of the magic! If I don't get the antidote by midnight, I'll turn into a shadow creature! What am I gonna do? I'm running out of time! Well, there must be something. Look, a hidden room! You two wait here while I'll make sure it's safe. Because they didn't want to model them walking into another room. And look, this is the exact cauldron room that all the earlier cutscenes with Maleficent took place in. So that's pretty cool that we get to see it. This must be Maleficent's secret potion room. What a strange mirror. If it's her secret potion room, why was it only accessible through a prison cell? I don't know. And I do like the return of Shadow Sora for a second time. That's pretty neat. And as well as our third and final magic spell, Thunder. It deals the same damage as the other two, but it looks cool. The Keyblade's magic is restored. If you went into this potion room and then went back out without discovering the Thunder spell and had to restore the Keyblade's magic, Donald would yell at you to go back in. I found the magic. It was hidden in that weird mirror. Hurry, find Maleficent. You gotta stop her before she releases the shadows. While you're doing that, we'll find the ingredients for your antidote. But where are you gonna find a dragon's tooth? I don't know exactly. In a dragon, I guess. We'll worry about that. You go stop Maleficent before it's too late. And off we go. If we went this way right now, we could backtrack to that big maze we saw earlier. There'd be enemies there and we can get all of the chests. But there's really no point in doing that. It's a fun little trick. So this thing right here, it's covered by Maleficent's magic. If we jump into it, we will clip through the floor and instantly die, because it didn't expect us to jump through that cutscene, and it doesn't know what to do about it. So we wait while Sora falls in the infinite void. You can see our health went to 0. And there we go, we're dead. Falling into the pit in the center of the room normally will also kill you in one hit. So that's what's supposed to happen. Now the impossibly strong shadows are replaced by just some of Maleficent goons. This is the final normal combat area of the game. There are 3 stairs of this big staircase, and each layer has its own set of enemies that you need to defeat. The ones on the 3rd layer, those are technically optional, because you can just walk past them into the exit door. On to the second group. These ones are more dark balls. You can see they're actually doors to the side. It took me 2 or 3 playthroughs until I actually realized they were there. Once you kill the dark balls, you can access rooms to the side, and they will give you some free treasures before the final battle, 1 of each type of item. I wish I had more to say, but I mean, look at this gameplay. It's not exactly inviting very deep commentary. So here's one of those side rooms. It's just a small room, which has some chests in it. There's one on the other side with an ether and a potion. I won't bother grabbing those, though. And here's the air soldiers. They're the only optional Heartless in the game. You don't actually have to fight them ever. This is the only place they appear, unless you backtrack all the way to the maze, in which case there's one of them there as well. And here's the tower. Maleficent waits at the top. This is one of my favorite rooms in the game. Maybe the best room in the game, because it's a real vertical platforming challenge, which we don't see a lot of in Kingdom Hearts to begin with. It really feels like that final approach to the final boss. It's very climactic. Some of the jumps like this one are frustrating because of the perspective, but what can you do? Yeah, the camera really needs some work. And it's Maleficent up there waiting for us. You think you've won? Well, we shall see. Ha 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 ha. And Dragon Maleficent. She kind of just disappears and then sometimes randomly clips through the stage. Don't know what's up with that. The idea is that she's going to disappear and then reappear on a random corner of the rooftop. So we're going to have to run around and run around and try to figure out what side she appears on, so she doesn't catch us off guard. Like Cobra Jafar before, she can only be damaged by magic. But because there are no replenishing magic spawns around the arena, if you hit her with the Keyblade, she'll give you some random orb drops. This does mean if you hit her, she'll just infinitely give you HP drops as well, which perhaps isn't great design. And also you could just fall off the edge sometime. What can you do? Magic also has a very generous auto lock on, so you don't really have to aim as long as you're facing in the general direction of your target. Like that was almost a full 90-degree turn that Zora did. And that's the final boss of Kingdom Hearts VCast. It's fun. It's not the best, but at least has some spectacle to it. And we get her tooth as the reward. There's no collision on her head. I guess that would have been too much to ask for. But now we can zipline back down to the orrery and deactivate the machine. And because at the end of the day, this game is more about platforming and puzzles than it is about sheer combat, we have one little challenge for the road. We have to figure out how to get back to the cell with Donald and Goofy. So you have to knock down these pillars in a specific order in order to catapult ourselves to the end. Whee! Sora, there you are! Hurry, we're running out of time. It's almost midnight. I set up the cauldron in the potion room. We just walk straight through the middle of this door, which has no collision on it. Sora, there you are. It's almost midnight. Hurry! The tooth of a crocodile spirit, a giant serpent, and a dragon. I'll get the fire going. We don't have time, Goofy. Stand back. I'll use a fire spell. Poor Goofy. Sora, go! Jump in the cauldron! I don't know why you wouldn't just drink it, but okay. Donald, Goofy, I just had the strangest dream. Really? Was it scary? But was it a dream? Well, there you go. The darkness was driven from Sora's heart before the clock could strike midnight. Once more, Sora and his friends saved all the worlds from the scourge of the Heartless. I sure hope they don't come back someday to spread their gloom and despair. But we don't have to worry about that today. Today's about friends and laughter, hope and promise, blue skies and sunshine. And with that, our very green Jiminy Cricket closes the chapter, and it's the end. That is all of Kingdom Hearts VCast. So, I hope you enjoyed. Hope that gave you some better perspective on this game that I've been talking about for a year. Next month, for the 21st anniversary of Kingdom Hearts VCast on February 1st, I'll be wrapping up my big VCast series with a special finale, so I hope this will give you some more insight for when we get to that point. Thanks for watching!